of North Dakota have just clinched a share of the 2016 Big Sky Conference Football Championship.
And an 8, North Dakota is the 2016 Big Sky Conference Volleyball Champions.
Thanks for joining us this week for a special championship edition of UND Sports Extra. I'm Alex Heinert. Well, Saturday, November 12th will be a special day to remember for North Dakota fans as UND volleyball and football both clinched conference championships within hours of each other on the last day of their respective regular seasons. Saturday morning at the Betty, Mark Pryor's crew swept away the only team that could catch them in the conference standings, beating Northern Colorado in convincing fashion to earn their second Big Sky title in 4 years and secure the right to host this week's conference tournament. While across town at the Alaris Center, UND football would rally from a 21-point second-half deficit, scoring 28 unanswered to stun Northern Arizona 38-31 and capture at least a share of the conference title. The win was the 9th straight for the Fighting Hawks and completes an undefeated Big Sky season. We are just getting started with the title talk here on UND Sports Extra as a victorious Bubba Schweigert will join us in studio after the break.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance and the University of North Dakota.
Welcome back. Well, we're joined as always by the head coach of the 2016 Big Sky football champions, the University of North Dakota, Mr. Bubba Schweigert. Bubba, first of all, congratulations on a great run this season and on a championship.
Thank you, Alex. Sure was fun to be at home, and so happy for the staff and players and all our supporters that we were able to share this moment on Saturday. Just an awesome experience.
Yeah, a well-deserved conference title, a game certainly that none of us are going to forget anytime soon, but because we can, we're going to relive it right now with you. And so entering this one, as we go to the highlights again, you were taking on a 5-4 Northern Arizona team, knowing that a win would ensure you at least a share of the conference championship. The Lumberjacks, of course, picked to win the preseason. Picked to win the conference in preseason. They had won 4 straight coming in. We're going to pick this up at the tail end of the first. You're down 7-3 at this point and punting away, and special teams comes up big for you here.
Yeah, and played a big part in the game. We just get Alex Reed, who's been a steady performer on the special team, strips the ball. Great play by him, and Jacob Holman's there to get on it.
Ensuing play after the fumble, John Santiago breaks off just a brilliant 38-yard run for the touchdown. What a play here.
Yeah, we've seen him do it time and time again, and sure happy he's on our football team.
This was the 6th rushing score of the season for John. He was coming off a 204-yard performance against Northern Colorado. That puts you up 10-7. A reshuffled offensive line opened up some space, and then John does the rest.
Yeah, just getting body on a body, and you give John a little space. He's really good in the open field.
Blake Kemp in this Northern Arizona offense, though, tough to contain for a while. A big play here, 88 yards for the touchdown on 3rd down and 17.
Yeah, this one was a big momentum swing. You have them 3rd and long, and they catch us in a screen, and they're so talented that if you make a little mistake or your angles are a little bit off, they're going to take it the distance.
That made it 14-10. NAU would lead 24-10 at the half. Their first drive of the 3rd quarter, a little trickery they add to the advantage.
Yeah, give them credit. Excellent play design out of the Wildcat, and they fool us a bit to go up.
So you're down 31-10 in the 3rd, but this team is not going to lie down. Another touchdown run here from John Santiago to cut into that deficit.
Yeah, we needed something big to happen, and we obviously needed a touchdown at that point, and our offense did a good job of going down and getting one.
Trailing by 14 as we go to the 4th quarter. You get stopped down at your end, but again, another punt and another big special teams play.
Yeah, we get a little help here, and Keelan Poole, guy that just gets in there, takes care of the punt return man, and I believe Tanner Palmer's on.
Yeah, yep, Tanner makes the recovery right there. You'd go backwards after a couple penalties, but on 2nd and 30, you've got them right where you want them. Your great play by Damon Mercer.
Yeah, what a big day he had, and Keaton throws a good back shoulder ball there, so excellent job by those two.
You'd have it 1st and goal inside the 2 a couple of plays later when adversity would hit here. Keaton Studsrud, of course, was nursing a shoulder injury coming in. He takes a shot, and it didn't look good for Keaton at this point.
No, he experiencing a lot of pain there and took a tough shot. And, he just battled. He's such a fierce competitor, and eventually came back in and led us to the victory.
Able to come in on this play, makes the toss to Brady Olivero, who then finds Luke Fiedler in the end zone. A little trickery for a big touchdown. That was something you guys have been working on this season.
Yeah, we ran a few plays, and Brady made a really good play there to buy a little extra time and found Luke in the back of the end zone.
Really gutsy call there from Paul Rudolph and the gang. That made it 31-24. You get a 3 and out. You get the football right back. Studsrud miraculously comes back and then finds Mercer again.
Yeah, like I said before, Damon just waited his turn and played a lot more the last few weeks and just making all kinds of plays for us on Saturday.
Great touchdown catch there from Damon from 10 yards out. Career high 147 yards on the day for Mercer. This ties it all up at 31. Again, time and time again, Keaton just found a way to grind through what looked to be a pretty serious injury. You see the guys are fired up on the sidelines. I'm not sure how smart that is from A.J. Stockwell, but on the next NAU possession, this is the play of the day right here. Kemp, quick out. Deion Harris reads it perfectly. Big pick six.
Yeah, a really good break on the ball and takes it in the end zone and puts us up, which was a huge, huge play for us for the day and for our season.
Big Sky leading 5th interception of the year. The FCS leading 3rd pick six this year for Deion. The place was going crazy at this point. You'd come all the way back from 28 unanswered, and that would prove to be the game winner. You'd get a stop on defense, and that would really kickstart the party here. What are your feelings as you guys rush the field?
Well, just really happy for our team, our players, and the entire program. You know, so much work goes into this and this division of our program to be Big Sky champs, and to have it take place at home was really special.
NAU put up some big numbers through the air, but you had great balance offensively to counter that. You create 4 more turnovers to give you a ridiculous 29 takeaways on the year. That's the most in the country. Here's what your guys had to say about the victory.
It's just one of those games. You get down and make a big comeback and pull some stuff out of the bag and got the win. But the guys fought hard. It was one of the best games I've ever been a part of, and remember for the rest of my life. It's crazy.
Our fingers are no longer naked. We just got a Big Sky championship ring.
First Division I championship. Man, that's just, it is what it is. You know, that's just an incredible feat, and hopefully many more to come.
I'm just so happy that we was able to come back and get the victory. And we deserve it because we worked hard from all season, throughout the season. Came up short the first 2 games, but we've been on the ball ever since. So I'm just happy that we was able to get out and capitalize and make something out of nothing.
Well, this team, Bubba, has prided itself all season in coming back. Again, you had 3 big second-half deficits that you'd come back from before this contest, especially the one that was very similar to this against South Dakota. That belief must have really helped this team get through what was a big second-half deficit in this game.
Well, I think it does help when you do it once. You believe you can do it again, but all this stuff takes place, you know, throughout the winter months and spring ball and summertime training and all that to build up to the fall season. But I'm really proud of our guys to hang in there and stay calm and just work to get back into games.
Looking ahead now, you get an open week, as you like to call it, before you find out your fate on Sunday, November 20th. What's the plan up until then and a plan for that day?
Well, we got to try to give our guys healthy. You know, we played 11 straight weeks, and we're going to try to do the right thing and improve our depth, and we still got to improve fundamentally. There's some things that we can do to improve our football team, but we still got to always keep in mind we got to get our guys healthy and let them feel better.
Well, good luck on healing up. We'll check in with you next week when the playoff picture gets set. Rest up, heal up, Coach. Congratulations on the title.
Thank you very much.
We're going to hear from one of the key members of that title run, Luke Mathewson, when UND Sports Extra returns. Welcome back. Well, one of the key members to UND football's run to a conference championship this season doesn't exactly jump off the page when you look at statistics. But Luke Mathewson has never been defined by numbers, but by something different entirely. With his story, here's our Marty Mueller.
I remember actually coming out of the first spring practice and sitting in my car just kind of breaking down. I was like, they're not going to keep me. They're going to cut me right away.
Well, athletically, I honestly, coming into it, I did have a question whether he would be able to hold his own with a lot of different things because he had a lot to improve on.
There are certain things you either have or you don't. Coaches make careers out of finding them. Players made or broken because of them. The intangibles. In the winter of 2013, Luke Mathewson found himself in an awkward place, not knowing if the new football coaching staff would find his intangibles useful.
It was really stressful and just going through that transition. Growing up, we were always told that you don't quit anything, you just see it through, and so that was my mentality is I'll see this through, I'm going to give it everything I've got, and if that's not enough, then that's okay. And that was huge for me and allowed me just to have a peace of mind and to really just push through that time.
He just really bought into the new vision, and he did that from day one. That we could tell in our winter workouts, our first winter with him, that he was going to work hard and do his very best.
His very best would be enough to land him a spot on new head coach Bubba Schweigert's roster. But simply making the team wasn't enough. Mathewson wanted to be a leader.
If you really wanted to make a poster child for a student athlete, I think he's a good place to start, because he's a guy that he was very anxious to be a leader from when our staff took over. He really wanted to take over that role, and I think when he leaves here, one of his legacies will be one of the better leaders that this program's had.
I think that's just something that God's gifted me with. Being the youngest, I always saw my siblings leading, and my dad and mom in leadership positions, and so I was kind of just used to that in my family. And so I've been captain in football and basketball in high school, and that's how it's always been. And I was always bigger than everybody growing up, so everybody just kind of looked up to me, and literally and figuratively.
I think the guys respect about how he goes about his everyday business. He cares for others. He works hard. He sets a good example. He's willing to tell people how he feels. He's willing to support them if they have a tough time. So he just does a lot of things right. And I think, the guys on the team recognize that and voted him captain.
That's right, captain. Mathewson has seen this team come a long way in a few short years. From scraping the bottom of the conference ranks to garnering UND's first FCS coaches' top 10 ranking in Division I history. While the team's goals continue to be checked off, there's one personal box still left open for the blocking tight end. At least it was until an early November trip to northern Colorado.
I didn't know that was his first touchdown, and that's really not his game, to be honest with you. He's not the best route guy, but that just shows he's always been the right guy at the right place and the right time.
That was pretty exciting. I caught it and I had no idea what to do with it, because I've never been in that situation before. But I was really excited too, because my parents were there and I had some other family there, and for them to be able to see that and experience it, I know they're really excited. And it's hard to put into words how much this place means to me. Everything has just been phenomenal, and so to have been able to play 5 seasons here is, it's amazing.
So how do you go from cut to captain? It can't be taught, learned, or trained. You either have it or you don't. The intangibles.
Thanks, Marty. Well, Mathewson and his teammates weren't the only UND team to clinch a conference championship on Saturday. Mark Pryor and UND volleyball also did the trick. The head coach will join us in studio to talk about it after the break. Welcome back. Well, when the man next to me was here last about a week ago, he and his team had to win 2 games against the best competition in the conference to pull off a conference title. And 7 days later, Mark Pryor and UND volleyball have done just that. Congratulations on a big week and a great season, Coach.
Thanks. These kids have earned it. Absolutely, they've earned it in the last few weeks of the season.
This week was kind of an odyssey of sorts. You start on the road against Northern Arizona, a team that had won 25 straight home matches. It's a long trip. Your kids came out, though, and did what was something pretty special in that contest.
It was one of those things that we played, and the staff, we're kind of looking at each other and we're like, don't say anything, don't say anything. They were really doing well, and you could tell the kids were kind of starting to feel it, like, we can do this. So it was great for them to see that, and then as soon as it was over with that one, it was very workmanlike. It was like, okay, we got to get home, and that's when I go, there's going to be a pretty good chance of this. So we felt good about it.
You pulled off a big sweep over the defending conference champs. Faith Dooley, a big game, 14 kills, hit 550 en route to being named the Offensive Player of the Week in the conference. Just a great performance on that first game of the week.
She did really well. It was one of those that we thought that there were some matchup problems that we could cause them some issues with. One of them was our middles, and both of them did a great job. I thought that we followed the game plan well, and I thought the kids they were just kind of relentless. They only led in that third set. They were up 8-5. We called a quick timeout, and then it's tied at 12-all, and we're like, they were just not going to be denied.
Yeah, huge win there in Flagstaff. Then you got to come back, and it's a 1,500-mile trip. You had a 4-hour layover in Denver. I mean, a lot of adversity, but your team did fantastic through the whole process.
What was great is we've got this huge layover, and I'm just like, what's gonna happen? So I was kind of ticked off. So I'm kind of walking just to kind of get some exercise in the airport, and walk by our gate, and I'm like, what is that going on? It's our entire team, and they're doing lunges and stretching and trying to get kind of a light workout in.
Sure.
And you've got people that are like, what's going on? And they're trying to be respectful, but you hear one of the kids go, excuse me, we're just trying to win a conference title. And I'm like, I think we might be okay.
You'd complete the trip, you get back to Grand Forks, you play an early morning Saturday game against the team that had swept you on the road earlier this season. Completely different match though than the first game against Northern Colorado back in September.
It was. We were playing a little different lineup then. We've got a couple kids that have kind of stepped up and really done some really great things as of late. And I think the big thing is we had 1,100 people there on Saturday at 11 a.m. You know, football was playing for a conference title. Hockey played the night before, so there's sometimes a little, let's just call it, slow start after a hockey night. So we were just really grateful we had such a great crowd that was there, and they got a chance to share that moment with us.
Yeah, pretty special moment. You pull off the sweep over the Bears. What were you feeling as the team runs out there after that last point?
What was funny was we were getting ready to finish it, and I walked down to the end of the bench, and I said, guys, act like you've been here before. And a couple of the kids are like, what do you mean? And I was like, just don't lose your mind. I go, we've still got stuff to accomplish. So it was great. I was so happy for those kids. I think the thing that I was most excited about is when we get done and Faith Dooley goes, hey, that's great. Now it's 0-0.
Sure.
And I just went, they get it. Yeah. So it was a real proud moment for me.
Yeah. Now you move into that next phase where it is sudden death here. You earn the right to host, which is obviously huge. You've not lost in the Betty since September 3rd, but a very tough road now with Idaho looming in round 1 on Thursday night.
You know, Idaho, I mean, if you're the 8th seed, you have nothing to lose. They're coming out here and they know they have a history of playing us very tough. So I think for us, we understand it's going to be a tough matchup. It's not your normal 1-8. So I think that we've been really trying to prep for it. They've got a couple kids that do some things really well. We're just hopeful that we've kind of got that, you know, that crowd, that 12th man advantage with a good number of people that are going to be here on Thursday.
Yeah, we certainly hope that's the case as well. We'll be watching, cheering Mark best of luck this week in the conference tournament. Conference champs, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
When we come back, we're switching gears to UND women's basketball. Stick around.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance and the University of North Dakota.
Welcome back inside our Midco Ascent studios for another season. Head coach of UND women's basketball, Travis Brewster. And Coach Brew, it seemed like not too long ago we were playing on the same poorly constructed golf team at Kings Walk, and it's basketball season now. What happened over the last couple of months?
Well, you know, I discovered my game wasn't very good and yours was, and so here we are, right?
I know that wasn't the case. You've already played a couple of games this season, but let's just kind of look back and look at this team as a whole so far. Great season last year, again, making it to the semifinals of the conference tournament, moving into postseason play another time for your team. Just talk about what needs to happen to make this year's team as special as last year's was.
Well, we have to find our own identity first and foremost. The biggest thing for us is to be able to play our game. And last year's team was different. This team's a little bit more high octane, a little bit more up and down. So I'm really encouraged by that. The seniors are doing a tremendous job of just incorporating the new people and also just kind of saying, here, this is the standard that we're going to play at, and this is how we're going to do it this year. So, you know, we got to get our identity going a little bit on the defensive side of the ball a little bit, and I saw some improvement in that in our last game.
Yeah, you mentioned those seniors, 4 coming back this season, 3 of which were big parts of your starting 5 last year in Leah Zabla, Michaela Dyer, and Sam Roscoe. What do those 3 mean to this group moving forward?
Well, you know, we've watched them come up, and they're really grasping the concepts. But you know, you can't trade experience for anything, and they understand what the nuances are, what we got to get through in practice. They're very encouraging people. They're also they're just very good demanding people in the aspect of they demand a lot of themselves before they demand of anybody else. So, you know, practice has been spirited. It's been nice.
Your 4th senior on this group, Holly Johnson, a transfer from North Dakota State. She's one of the several new faces on this team. Chastity Franklin coming in from the JUCO ranks. You've also got a lot of sophomore kids that are going to be filling out the rest of that roster, but really experiencing a new role this season. Talk about the rest of that group and what you expect.
Well, those group of people you mentioned haven't played a lot for us, so that's gaining the experience as we go along. With Holly obviously being a senior and a transfer, we're excited about having her here and her experience part of it, but at the same time, she's learned how we do things, and she's grasping the concepts pretty well. It's always going to take a little time when we knew this. I mean, she's trying to cram, 4 years of stuff in her one season she has with us here, and she's done a nice job so far. It's just going to take a little bit more time. But Chastity, she's a high-engine kid, and she's doing a nice job. And with Grace Swatsky and Bailey Strand battling off of injuries now, here they are, they're coming back, they're pushing for minutes, and, they're being solid players for us. So the sophomore group's pretty exciting, when you look at those kids. But then you turn around, you got Fallon Freegee and Lexi Clable, who both played a lot. And now they've got to get through that typical sophomore year, improving and being able to build on what they did from the last year. And obviously she's off to a good start, and Fallon's kind of finding her way yet. But I'm encouraged by the whole group, top to bottom.
Yeah, we've seen those two, Freegee and Clabo, start each of those first 2 games. You've played a tough non-conference schedule since you've been here. This is no exception. Again, big games at home against Drake and on the road against Texas Tech. What have you learned about your team through those 2 games?
Well, they're a resilient group. Texas Tech, we dug ourselves into a hole, unfortunately, and we battled ourselves out of that, cut that lead to 4. And being able to see how they handle adversity when you're on the road or playing a tough team like Drake at home, I'm encouraged by where we're headed, and the biggest thing is, the schedule is the schedule. You reap what you sow a little bit, and we got to get through it, and we got to get through it the right way, and, then we'll feel a little bit better about ourselves when we battle through.
Sure. Another big game coming up tomorrow night against Iowa, Coach. I believe so, yes. Best of luck in that one. And good luck during this season, Coach. We'll be talking to you soon.
Yep, thank you.
Cool. Travis Brewster. As we said, Coach Brewster and the team taking on the Hawkeyes tomorrow night at the Bedia game. You can watch live here on Midco Sports Network. That's the first in 3 live games this week on our network, including UND women's hockey versus Minnesota on Friday and men's hockey from St. Cloud on Saturday. We invite you to join us for all 3 of those live broadcasts this week and right back here next Tuesday night on UND Sports Extra. For the rest of our crew, I'm Alex Heinert. Thanks for watching.